Yes, Lesego. Your story is flowing so well that I'm not even looking at my notes. It is so natural, so real, and so familiar, it's unbelievable.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Absolutely. And now you come into contact with MTN. I always say to people, organizations are not buildings and the names, but are people. So there must have been somebody at MTN who says, you know what, this gem just needs to be polished and I'm not going to go past it.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
You know, as I was busy, there's a program at Love Life that is called Born Free Dialogues.
Yes.
Now, as community liaison officers, we were thrown in different townships to go and host social ill dialogues. Now, I was given an opportunity to host a Born Free dialogue at Klipspruit at the Simba Stadium. It's now called the Nike Center.
Yes.
Now, I was given an opportunity to go and host. What you do, you just go on the first 5 days in that community and loud hail to inform the community that you will be having a dialogue at this particular place at this time. You know, you go around the streets and informing the community to come and join in so that you can speak about the social ills that are disturbing Klipspruit. And after a Born Free dialogue, you'll have to formulate a report that you will then present in the office to say these are the type of needs that Klipspruit as a community has. Now, as I was busy with the Born Free dialogue, I was spotted by Mr. Tau, the owner and the CEO of Soweto TV.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Tau was with an entourage of the MTN crew there.
Yes.
Now, I was the MC for that event, and I was also the project manager. And luckily, as part of the invites, I was able to invite Soweto TV to come and be part of us. Now, they honored the invitation, but I didn't know that the actual CEO and the owner will honor the invitation, and he will be coming with an entourage. Immediately after the Born Free dialogue, he gave me the business card and said, come and see me tomorrow in my office. And I said to her, sir, I would love to come and see you, but I'm actually employed at Love Life, and I'm busy with some duties. And he says to me, listen, speak to your CEO. That was then Miss Grace at Love Life as a CEO. And I spoke to her. She was a great woman. I said, Mama, somebody asked me to come and see them at Soweto TV. They might be having an opportunity. Meg Grace said, beautiful, Lesego, jump for it. Go and hear what they have to say. Just report at the office in the morning and go to your meeting. Can you believe when I got to that meeting, Mr. Tau gave me a contract. He says to me, I'm not even role-playing this. He says to me, I love your skill as a presenter. I need a presenter for a youth show that we are coming up with. I said, no, sir, I can't be able to take the contract now. I need to speak to my CEO. He says to me, go and speak to your CEO, but take my contract. I want it signed tomorrow. You are starting in the next 2 days. Now, I'm rushing back, and now I'm going to have a word with the CEO to say, Mom Grace.
You are made to go and resign.
And listen to what this lady says. This lady says, Lesego, this is beautiful. You can just give me 2 days a week, and you can be 3 days with them. Your salary won't be affected. Hey, what am I hearing? Now, Mr. Sam, I'm finding myself working 2 jobs that are paying me 2 salaries because somebody believes in my abilities and that I can still execute the job. Now, whilst working with Mr. Tau, Mr. Tau says, I need to propel your skill. MTN is prepared to take you to school.
Wow.
Hey, what am I hearing?
Did you need some counseling to cope with this?
Very true. Now, my worry was, Mr. Tau, I appreciate the opportunity given, but I have a concern. What am I going to eat when I get to Rhodes? How am I going to travel to Grahamstown? Clothing, I'm worried about all those things. I understand you're paying for my fees, but all those things, how am I going to take? I cannot afford. Mr. Tau says to me, listen here, don't be asking me silly questions. They are paying for everything. Hey, this was something else.
And you have been already earmarked.
And now I was the first in the family to be going to tertiary with a flight. Sure. I thought I was going to be booked on a bus at Park Station to be going to Grahamstown. No. I was booked on a flight, South African Airways business class, with serious pocket money taken care of. This was a dream to me, Mr. Sam. Remember, all of this started with just volunteerism. Fresh out of high school, no opportunity to study in tertiary. I'm exposed now with these opportunities just by volunteering. This can only be God, and I can never belittle the wonderful work that He has done in my life.
Tell me, which primary school did you go to?
In Chakani, just nearby my gate, so I couldn't bunk school.
What do they call it?
Just Enru Chakani Primary School.
And they say high school?
It's in Namedi, in Deep Clough.
Yeah. Have you been back to them?
Come again?
Have you gone back to them to do some work with them?
For sure. I'm still giving back to the high school even now.
Because your story alone will change the children in seconds.
Sure.
So I'm glad you're doing that. That's why I think those teachers that were your teacher there, if they are still there, they must be saying, either they've seen it or they haven't seen it. They must be saying, look, we are blessed to be associated with an alumni like yourself. Now, tell me, I always tell people about the book that really, I wouldn't say it has changed me, because I think when I started to read it, I think I had gone so much through my cycle of professional development. But this book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Hey, that's the masterpiece that everyone needs to read.
That book, I've read it more than 10 times. And every time I talk to people, and that's why I like the power of the mind. I always locate people in that book. And it says, Think and Grow Rich. And when people read the title, they think it is a joke. It's a fact that we build all these successes in our minds long before they become real.
You have to, everything that we achieve, it's exactly that. It has been orchestrated in the mind. There's a fascinating theory that I came up with to say, everything that you possess, the mind cannot take you where it does not know. I'm going to unpack this if you allow me very quickly.
Yes.
The mind cannot take you where it does not know. This is what I mean.
Yes.
Now, if I say to you right now, can you please go to Lesotho to my grandfather's house? The mind will never be inspired to go there because it does not know. But once I give you directions to go there, the mind becomes inspired to go.
Absolutely.
The mind cannot go where it does not know. When somebody says to me, life is tough, I say to them, yes, it is tough because your mind won't take you where you haven't taught it. So if you want to know about wealth and riches, teach the mind so that it can go the route of riches and wealth.
Wonderful.
So when somebody says to me, I feel that I'm very weak and a bit stupid or useless, I always tell them, you feel that way about yourself because the mind can never take you where you haven't taken it yourself. Meaning, if you want to feel like you are a contributor, start teaching your mind and empowering it and equipping it with empowerment content. And then the mind will be active to want to know more.
Oh, absolutely.
The mind can never be excited to go where it does not know. If you want to become something else, if you want your mind to take you elsewhere, teach it, and it will be activated to go there.
Absolutely. And this is why our slogan, the mind, the journey, the destiny. We say that we apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. The mind, it can be very, you tell it, this is what I want to go. This is where I want to go. And the journey becomes really directed by where the mind wanted you to go to.
Full stop.
Which is the destiny that you will have imagined and you will have visualized. And you will have...
There is no rocket science behind that. There is no rocket science whatsoever. Now, I usually... There's a podcast that I recorded, I think, 2 weeks ago. This is what I'm asking young people. I ask them a simple question. This is how the mind works. The mind cannot give you what it does not know. This is what I meant. I asked one of the young people, what was my mother... Or let me ask you now, Mr. Sam, what was my mother's name? You see, you can't correct yourself. You don't know my mother's name.
Yes.
Because the mind was not taught on my mother's name. Meaning, there is no file about my mother's name in your mind.
Yes.
Now I'm going to teach you. My mother's name was Oma. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Mr. Sam, what is my mother's name?
Oma.
Because the mind just created a file about my mother's name. That's why it's able to respond. So I teach young people, if you don't know how to respond to opportunities in an interview, it's because your mind does not have a file about the opportunities that you are about to discuss. So if you are not equipping the mind, you will always feel stuck in conversations. And if the mind is not empowered and equipped, you will always have very short discussions because you are afraid that the next question will come and you know nothing about that subject matter. But when you equip the mind, you are always excited to be part of fruitful discussions.
Wonderful. And that speaks to reading as well.
Yes,
as you read, you expand your knowledge base and you are able then to engage on meaningful conversations.
Very true. If the mind is empty, you are compromised.
Wow.
You will find that even in relationships, you have just proposed to a wonderful lady. This lady says, I love you too. But you cannot hold meaningful discussions because the only thing that you are hoping to do is to have this young lady as a sex pet. It doesn't work like that. This young lady wants meaningful discussions, fruitful discussions that can lead the relationship elsewhere. But because you are empty, the only thing that you know it's fornication and intercourse. This is the only thing that you will discuss in that relationship because it is flat. There is no content in that relationship. It's time we equip the mind with relevant subjects that can propel us to become very influential citizens that can conform the society.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we can't build a society before we construct positivity and progressiveness inside the mind of ourselves as young people, as adults, as a society. You
couldn't have said it better, Daddy. That's it.
Sure. Beautiful. Napoleon Hill, the takeaway for me from that book, it's about in orientating ourselves to make a difference and a change in our lives. He says it starts with a desire. Have a desire, but that is not enough. That must be followed by faith. A belief that you can do it. And once you have a desire and then you have faith that it can be done, because the desire is about wanting to have something.
Yes.
And then the faith is believing that what you want to have can be achieved. Because other people have achieved it, and nothing is impossible if you set your mind on it, as long as it's not about destroying. Yeah? And then he says, then please, the last piece is action. Because desiring and having a faith and not acting is not completing the puzzle. And why I'm saying this is like, I see you as someone who was sitting there and stuck after matric. And then you had a desire to change your situation because you could not stand the depression that was caused by you seeing fellow schoolmates progressing in life.
That desire was a burning one.
The burning desire, and then
it needs to be burning.
And you must have believed that, no, man, I can change my situation. Let me go and volunteer in the schools, and that's where action came.
Because you know why, Mr. Sam? I'm afraid I saw what I could possibly become if I did not take that step to change my life. I was scared already of where I was seeing myself if I don't take that step. Now, that burning desire that you're speaking about, the urge to make a change, is the one that made me to survive. Because if I could have let the past to take over, we could have been speaking a different story.
Wow. And then it continues by saying that a shift, a movement, can only happen when there is action. So and you see now, the moment you acted, things started happening, isn't it?
Yep.
Wow. Now, this is beautiful. I know we are talking to each other, but we are talking to the listeners out there, and I hope I'm asking the questions that they will be asking if they were sitting in front of you. Now, let's now go to roads. It became a reality. You flew. Was it your first flight?
That's right. That was my first flight. And well, of course, I was in a very serious dream. You know, I mean, most students normally would go to tertiary with a bus, correct? If they're traveling from other provinces, they'll normally go by bus and they'll book themselves in. They'll be on the road for the whole day going to a different province. And there goes Lesego Tau, you know, one young man that never saw the possibility of knocking into an institute. There I go on a South African Airways crossing seas. That was very fulfilling.
You know, I can relate to that. You were just somewhere in space. And I can imagine when they come to you and they put the glove on your thighs and say, "We are about to serve you."
Yeah. I was keeping my fingers crossed to say, if we can just arrive at Port Elizabeth, I will just be fine, because it was not only a fun moment for me. This was something that I've been seeing on the movies, you know, and there I am. I'm inside this thing. If anything wrong happens, we always see planes crashing. I don't want to see myself crashing because I don't even know how to swim, so it's going to be a disaster.
So that was it. And I don't think you will ever forget that trip.
No. It was mind-exploring, very powerful. You know, I remember when we touched down at Port Elizabeth, and don't laugh at me, Mr. Sam. You know, the person that was organizing the trip, I was supposed to be received by a shuttle.
Yes.
Now, I'm afraid to ask the person that's organizing to say, what is a shuttle? I never even knew what a shuttle is. You know, I'm asking myself, who am I going to meet at Port Elizabeth? Because nobody says to me, you will find taxis where in the airport, or who will be connected. She just said to me, just look for a shuttle, somebody will be having your name. But because I have a curious mind, the person I was seated next to, it was a white old man, I remember.
Yes.
You know, I started a conversation with him and I said, sir, you know, this is my first flight. I'm going to Port Elizabeth. And this old man says, oh, is it? And, you know, he started telling me all the nice stories about flying, traveling the world and whatnot. And I said to her, do you mind if I ask you, and please don't be judgmental, what is a shuttle? And he said to me, why are you asking? And I took out a piece of paper with the reference of the details that I was supposed to meet the gentleman. I said, it's written here, I will see a shuttle written this. Am I expecting to see a piece of paper in the wall when I get to the airport? Or what is a shuttle? Is it a bike? What? He says to me, oh, okay, my boy, a shuttle is a transport service guy that will be coming to collect you. You will be having a board with your name. And I asked, is a shuttle a name of a person or what? He said, no, it's a transport service team. That's how it is themed as a transport service. I said, yeah. Imagine, if I did not know what a shuttle is, I was going to sit right there on the general section at the airport and just wait for Mr. Shuttle. I was going to call the organizer to say, hey, I'm a student that's supposed to be landing in Grantstown. I'm not seeing Mr. Shuttle here. So that old white man saved me. So as I went out of the airport, I saw a big, 7-seater written there, Michael's Shuttle, and my name was Lesego Tau. This was a very fun thing. Don't laugh, Mr. Sam. I was going to be lost. They were going to find me maybe elsewhere in PE.
That's why we...
It was a great day. I will never forget that trip. Very much experimental.
That's why we came up with this platform, because these are beautiful memories, and in the process we are enlightening other people that please don't be lost. The shuttle means something like, because we do send our people around. I remember my first flight with some fellow South Africans was international flight. The first time I touched a flight was Lufthansa airline from Johannesburg to Frankfurt, and we were going overseas to study and do a program. But because we were a group, we didn't have that. We were naive together as a group, and we were laughing. But I must tell you, it is my wish and my desire that young people must be given opportunity to see things like this, to travel early. And today, a lot of young people are sent overseas by government on schemes and other things. I always said it's not even about that degree you are going to study, just getting exposed to things.
Yes.
It is incredible how life-changing a trip from here to Durban is. A trip from here to Kruger National Park. The whole issue around childhood development is about exposing children to things that are going to be enablers as they take off. And imagine some of our parents have never done this and they will never afford it. But now in the democratic South Africa, children cannot be denied things just because they were born poor.
Very true. Opportunities are there, I usually make fun when I speak to some of the boys in the township here. How is it that you are born as Zola, you also die in Zola? You haven't explored, Mamelodi, just not even other provinces. You don't know Krugersdorp. You grew up in Zola. You haven't been in Krugersdorp. You haven't been in the Vast Triangle. You haven't been in the East. Man. One of the opportunities that we are not utilizing. South Africa is very big, and we have, when it comes to sports, let's take the sports that most of our people love, which is soccer, football. And we have got football clubs spread across the whole country. And the reason why I mention this is because I come out of football era. I used to be a PRO at Vets, and that taught me quite a lot. And I even played up to second division of the West Football Club, Big West. And then I started developing a football club here in Johannesburg. We are 23 years old now as an organization, but we started as a football club in Hillbrow. Yeah. And now Hillbrow is the microcosm of South Africa, if you want to know. There's everybody in Hillbrow. So the club was made up of kids from Kimberley, from Rustenburg, from Durban, from Port Elizabeth, from Limpopo. And then I decided that we were going to not play in local. We were always every month going to be traveling. So I bought a buggy, Hyundai buggy and a trailer, and then we will travel. You'll find a boy from Kimberley in Hamochaji, in Limpopo, and then he says to me, Coach, you don't know how much you have done for me. I called home and I told them I'm in Hamochaji. They said, where is that? So now if you take our football, that's why sports tourism is so important, and I think all of us who are involved in development work, we really need to build traveling around things like football. It's very easy if Kaiser Chiefs plays in Venda. You organize a 20-seater, you get 10 kids, and you buy them nice packs.
You leave, the game is 3 o'clock, you leave 6 o'clock in the morning, you arrive in Polokwane, they go around Polokwane, you eat somewhere, and then you drive to the vendor and 3 o'clock they watch a game.
That's an experience of a lifetime.
I tell you, that gift to that child will talk about that trip for the whole year.
Yeah.
But we don't, that's why I said as parents, we are not playing our role enough. We're thinking money all the time is not about the money, it's about creativity.
Yep, and to give them the experience as well.
Absolutely. And even this dialogue, these conversations we are having, I came up with this platform simply because I realized that there's richness in our stories, in our journeys. But there's no platform where we look how much we're laughing right now, you know?
Yeah.
And this is reaching out people out there, and it's giving some people ideas that we can actually make this country very exciting by just being creative.
Yeah.
Now,
and you are also erasing this thing of taking people at face value.
Yes.
So many people will take me at face value and think Lesego grew up very well with no social ills, very much immune to challenges. But when they listen to this narrative, your narrative, my narrative, they can tell that, people really faced issues before they became what they are. I
always say to people that all these CEOs you see at these offices in Sandton, they didn't just drop from the moon onto Sandton. If you go to that, hey, sir, you are the CEO of this company. Tell me about yourself. Hey, he will tell you, my friend, I was looking after cattle somewhere.
Sure.
And then when they start telling, then you realize that there is a journey that all of us will go through.
Yeah.
And this is your journey that we are using now to inspire people. Now, my brother, you arrived at Rhodes, and now, how was the shock of being on campus?
Before starting on campus, let's start with the food. Because I remember I was not staying on rest. I was at a hotel. I was only going on campus to go and attend. So,
for how long?
I stayed there, I think, on rest because I had to go back to work. I did a month there at the hotel. Then I had to go back and work and take long distance because now I had to take care of some things as well in the family and at home because parents were no longer there. So stayed a full month at a hotel and decided, no. I'm going to study from home now because it's a bit compromised. But if I had all the money, I would stay in Grahamstown. I enjoyed that community so much. Peaceful, harmony. People know each other there. I always hear people say there's a lot of racism in Grahamstown. I've never seen racism there.
Yeah.
The way people live with each other, this neighbor knows the house there on who stays. An old white person stays there with their grandkids, and it's a community of multicultural and diverse people that stay there. I think I enjoyed the harmony in that space. Grahamstown, it's what I would love to see as a home for Lesego Tau. I enjoyed the space there. Being welcomed at Res, it's on campus. Everyone speaks academia there. You can see the seriousness of people being at school. They are there to learn very far from home. Yeah, you can tell by just the seriousness of studying and whatnot that these people mean business. So now you also have to marry the energy when you get there to say, here there's no child's play. Somebody has invested in you and they believe that you can become a better person with their money. So make sure that you don't waste the resources that were invested in you. So I enjoyed the community around me and the seriousness that has to do with the studying and taking your work very serious there.
Wonderful. Let's hold it there, and then we'll come back and then we'll really focus in on the journey of being on campus.
That.